Whatever that music is that we play. Hey, it's the Firing Pin live stream, and it's just us. It's just me and Pat. We've got no support team. We've got nothing. It's just
I'm still here, but can I count as support?
We have Cameron.
We've got
frame.
less than optimal.
We don't have any behind the scenes producers.
Are we better off without Cam? Or are we better with Cam?
I think Cam is solid. Right
Cam is solid. He's a good guy. We have just started to go live, and we don't have any comments yet. If you're just joining us, let me know if you can hear this. Let me know how this is working.
Yeah, please. As always, feedback is encouraged.
I'm bad at the I'm bad at this stuff. Expand video. Nope.
Technology gets me.
I didn't want to do that. Go back. Comments. Here we go. What's the buzzing? Is there a buzzing? Nothing on. Test. How's the audio? Sounds good. Little buzz.
I don't hear it on camera.
There is a buzzing noise. Ooh, that's
check some connections.
Yeah, it's just loud and clear. Minor buzzing. I don't know. Is that just Cam flying around? Hopefully not. Well, as always, welcome back. It's Thursday night. This is the Firing Pin live.
Yes, sir.
And we've got, I don't know, should those be pulled down a little bit maybe? Or yeah, pull those down.
All right, while these guys continue to mess around behind the scenes, let me do a quick ad for Arms Preservation Inc. Right, we talk about them all the time. They are one of our favorite sponsors. Right, we have two excellent sponsors, and Arms Preservation Inc. They make a fantastic product, as you guys are aware. Right, we talk about it every week with their VCI technology in their storage bags.
Yeah. And I don't think those bags buzz at all. I think if
they don't make any kind of weird noises that are going to be distracting and doing weird stuff.
Totally fine. Is it our microphones? Maybe sounds like 60 might be a bad charging brick. Oh man, I wonder. That's a tough one. Sounds like 60 hertz. Jason, how did you know that?
What are you?
Just over there with a harmonica.
That is a weird skill. I'd be interested to know.
Should we like
about that skill?
Pull my microphone over here a little bit, maybe?
I don't.
Might be a bad charging brick. You got me scared now because I got my laptop plugged in, but.
Don't tell us bad charging bricks. We already have one problem.
Already. Yeah. Electrical stuff. No.
Any electrical issues or
no, thank you. So, the big news. We posted this a little earlier. We do have an auction that's live right now. Bontrager's. If you go to bontragerauction.hibid.com, and I'll drop that unplug. But if I unplug the computer charger, the computer will die, because that's how we're running the stream. Yeah. I can't do that. But Bontrager Auctions, right in Batavia, they have all of our guns for the next 5 days. We have a auction that's running currently for basically everything we had in the store at the time of the fire, which we went through. The staff triple cleaned, and everything is oiled and nice. And, you know, we had to put a disclaimer that there is a slight risk of some smoke damage, of course. But, you know, I don't think that's the case for most of the items. They had to put the disclaimer in, but, you know, the metal and that didn't really soak up any of that stuff. So it's good to go. We have a lot of items, 250, maybe 300 items published over there, and there's a lot of cool stuff. And if you want to help us rebuild and get back better, that's a way to do it. There is an auction question. Is the auction just TFP items? No. So that is mixed in with everything else that Bontrager was doing. The best way to tell, and I'm sorry that there's not an easier way, the best way to tell is to go through the item and look at the last picture. And if the last picture that they uploaded is a slide that says there might be some smoke damage, then it's one of ours. So I wish there was a better way, but that is the only way, as far as I know, to tell which ones are ours. And yeah, there are quite a few of them in there. And it's a great auction either way. I mean, there's a lot of guns in there that are just plain old cool. We were looking at them all today. We went down there. We went live for a little bit. Awesome. So, yeah, if anybody else has any other questions or anything, please go ahead, drop them in the chat down below. We are kind of winging it tonight. Tyler's gone. McCardle's gone. We just wrapped up a Chamber of Commerce event. We were here from like 4 o'clock till just before the stream
Yeah, you used to
with
get
all
your,
of the my little name tag from the Chamber of Commerce. I'm like Josh used to be with
It's
his name
tradition.
tag. Yeah, leave a name tag on. So they said to check Pat's mic. Is that plugged in? Can we see that connection wherever that goes? Check
Not for
Pat's-
nothing. I do a really bad job.
Oh,
at
just
talking into the mic.
Josiah, so you have time to comment on Facebook, but not be here. What are you doing, Mister?
Yeah,
No, I'm
what
just
is
kidding.
that?
Joe's out becoming a learned man for the shop.
Here's
He's,
the problem.
What was it?
This is a rat's nest down here. I'll be
Yeah.
down here all night.
Well, that'll keep him busy. So yeah, I don't know. Should I just turn this
We'll
one?
see if
then?
we can share a mic
share
here.
a mic. Taking a break from studying SIG Classic Pistols. Excellent. Yes, yes. We always try. I tell all the guys here, like, if you find a continued education class that strikes a chord with you,
Right.
please sign up for it. Let's get you in there and let's get you learned up, because the more knowledge. What are we doing here? We got beers here. The more knowledge we can
I got
spread. Oh, you already see ahead of the curve here. But cheers.
That I'm giving Pat his normal mic, but not.
Fixed. Whatever happened, it fixed it. So don't touch anything now.
Well,
Fixed.
too late.
Fixed.
Wait, it's unplugged.
We're
So there we go.
this seems to be working.
Does this sound okay too, with both of us sharing the same mic? Does that work? All right.
I don't mind. I don't think here.
I'm all right. They all smell like beer.
Buzzing is gone.
Good
The
job,
buzzing
Cam.
is gone. Whatever you just did, you fixed the buzzing. So it's
So stop
probably
doing stuff.
something to do with this mic.
So now he plugged it in. Now it's gonna.
I plugged the-
Freedom Weekend.
Mike,
G, we got a question.
Freedom Weekend is 100% still happening.
Yep.
June 10th and 11th. Mark your calendars. I ordered the tents just the other day.
Sweet.
Ordered the dunk tank just the other day.
Yeah, boy.
So we are going to have one heck of a Freedom Weekend. I think one of the best we've ever had, if not the best we've ever had. We have some amazing guests coming in.
Yep.
I'm literally so excited. If you have done anything online and seen any like libertarian pages or any of that movement, you might know a guy by the name of Spike Cohen.
I've heard of him. Yep.
He is amazing at really sticking it to the ATF, to local governments, to sheriff's departments that don't do their constitutional duties, like Uvalde and certain ones.
Spike can meme, as the kids
Yes,
say.
he is relentless. I mean, the ATF will post a thing about like, hey, it's national, give thanks to the ATF Day or whatever. And Spike will be like, yeah, well, what about the victims of Ruby Ridge?
Right.
How about them? Are you giving them thanks today? Like, Spike is amazing. He's coming here.
Yep.
He
Again.
will be here.
Again. Yep,
That's right.
he's been
He was
here.
here once to shoot some machine guns, no big deal. And now he's here. He's going to be here again. June 10th, he will be here to give a speech, shake some hands, kiss some babies, the whole Q&A, town hall type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a little group you may have heard of called FPC, Firearms Policy Coalition.
Oh.
They're based out of California. They're a nationwide group.
Sure.
They are leading the fight. I mean, they bring lawsuit after lawsuit. I think they have 25 right now, all spread out across the country. No, it's more than that. It's like 50, because they have 5 just in New York.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know that, and a lot of people think these national groups have forgotten about us here in New York, which, certain groups have, like the NRA,
Right.
let's say. But the FPC, the Firearms Policy Coalition, they are fighting the good fight. They have 5 lawsuits currently working in the New York court system. Each one of those, minimum $50,000 to start and to initiate, basically, between the lawyers and the filing fees and all that kind of stuff you have to do. So we've got them coming too. So in my opinion, we have 2 headliner guest speakers coming. There's actually 2 guys coming from FPC, and they'll be talking about how you can help them help us here in New York,
Right.
and just how we can participate in, taking back what's ours, taking our rights back. I mean, our rights have been just trampled on here in New York. And as we've said hundreds of times, the laws that are in place are racist, they are classist, and they need to be dismantled. And we'll do that, whatever it takes, really. So super excited about that.
Also, I want to hit on that or piggyback on there and talk about the 2A culture in general and how you can participate in that 2A culture. Brandon, as you know, the Tactical Games Skirmish
Yeah.
is alive and well
Yeah.
here in New York.
Yeah.
And we have many events posted on Practice Score that you can sign up for now.
That's awesome.
At Escarpment Arms. We have one coming up 30 April. We have another the end of May. And they go all the way up until, I think the last one is in October. I'd have to look. But
Very cool.
yeah, so we will be doing those, like I said, once a month. And we're looking for people to volunteer to help coordinate and
Yeah.
run those behind the scenes. So if you're interested in that, that would be great. It's also a good way to earn yourself a free admission
That's
into
right.
a
That's
future
right. If you
skirmish,
volunteer,
right?
you
So-
get to come to one for free.
Right. So
That's super cool.
for people who are maybe, on the fence about if they're ready for
Mm-hmm.
participation or whatever, they want to learn more, or that, whatever the case is, maybe they don't
Sure.
have the gear, or maybe
yeah.
they're curious about if the gear that they have is suitable, because obviously
There can
there's
be a lot of anxiety for that. Like
restrictions.
if you've never done one of these, or if you're not
For sure.
if you're not, maybe a veteran or just someone who's done this type of stuff before.
Right.
If you're starting out at zero, just to kind of show up ready to compete can be an undertaking.
Well,
for
even
some
the people, there are people that come here and shoot their pistols and their rifles, on a routine basis, let's say. And even those people, I would say, aren't necessarily used to using their gear in a more dynamic, I guess,
Sure,
environment.
or like
Would
all
be like
together either.
Right,
Like a lot of
exactly.
people, I
Yeah,
have my gun,
putting on your
I have this, or I have my
carrier,
kit,
your
but
pistol, and
yeah.
all of those different things together. So the Tactical Games, it's a growing sport in many other areas,
Mm-hmm.
and they obviously aren't doing any big 2-day events here in New York State.
Sure,
as of
sure.
right now, right? But they could in the future,
Mm-hmm.
and if we could, get the ball rolling, I guess, so to
Absolutely.
speak, by getting more people involved in the skirmish. That's kind of what this is geared for,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of what we're trying to do is teach people what the Tactical Games are, and
show
get
them they are ready, right?
or at
Like,
least give them the base level skills that they would need to be ready, especially from
Sure.
like a safety perspective, from a manipulations perspective,
Right.
from a gear perspective, and being comfortable with wearing all of your stuff, getting the fitness perspective kind of dialed in, or understanding what all that entails. There's a lot of different, I guess, barriers that people might place in front of themselves.
Sure, right.
If
That's what
they're
they
not
are.
right.
Right.
It's more of like a mental block, I would say.
Right.
Or like, you might not feel like you're ready.
Sure.
But we can help in that
Right.
regard. So
and that's what the skirmishes are for.
100%,
Yeah.
and more so now. Or I keep saying the word skirmish. I shouldn't be using that. They want us to use training days
Training day,
now.
that's right,
Right.
that's
so
right.
it's Tactical Games Training Days. I have to correct myself. I'm sorry. So,
There'll always be skirmishes in our heart.
well, yeah, exactly. Right.
Donna asked a question: do we have any left-handed lever actions? And what's this about an auction I'm hearing about? So the auction after our fire on the 24th,
Right.
we just had to dispose of hundreds of items. We just had too many serialized items to deal with and to try to transfer them out and to sell them. So we just said, let's send them to an auction, get everything done at one time. And Bontrager was our first and only thought. They're good friends of ours. I've known Todd for a long time now. I've been to many of his auctions. And again, only thought I had, the only way we could do it was if we worked with him, and called him up. He said, not a problem. We got him down there in a couple days. And yeah, it's all of the stuff we had before the fire, basically, or during the fire. It's all for auction. As far as your lever action question goes, I can't think of any that are specifically made as left-handed. As Josiah said, the nice thing about a lever action is they're somewhat ambidextrous by nature. I guess the ejection would be the only thing, but there are some that eject straight out the top. So, yeah, yep, the 1894. You would want to make sure you don't get an 1894 AE. It does not stand for American Eagle. It stands for angled eject. The lever action comes out a long time before the scope did. Once the scope came out, a lot of old timers like the lever action, so they wanted to put their scopes on their lever actions because their eyes got bad, right? And the lever action makes it tough because it ejects straight up and into your scope. So Winchester in the 80s, maybe 70s, 80s, 90s, somewhere in there, they came out with the angled eject so that you could use a scope it goes out the sides. That's the only thing you'd want to make sure you don't get is one of those. Joel asked if the auction has any reserve prices. It does not. At least none of our lots do. They might have a few. I actually saw a gorgeous, I'm telling myself I have to stay away. There was a gorgeous Winchester, like a gallery gun, the 22 pumps.
Yes.
That was just immaculately engraved. I actually was going to hit up Joe to see if his dad engraved it maybe, but absolutely gorgeous engraving on there. Blew me away. Jim, good evening to you, sir. Good evening. Yeah. So, how many weeks has it been since the fire? Is this 3 weeks?
You're going on
4? Is this the 4th week?
Friday,
I
will be
think.
the 4th week.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So we're basically a month post fire.
Sure.
To give everyone an update, we have been released by the insurance company to start cleaning up the site. So I haven't made a post on Facebook about it, but actually tomorrow, this whole weekend, basically Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you have any available free time, if you've got some old clothes, some gloves, you don't mind getting dirty, we basically have to clean everything out of the store.
Bless you.
Excuse me. I started talking about the store and the insulation got to me. We're going to have to clean everything out. You know, the insurance company wants us to wait until a salvage company comes in, cleans everything out before we do the demolition and the rebuilding process, which I'm not waiting that long because who knows how long that's going to take.
Sure.
So we've cleared it with them. We're going to remove everything ourselves, put it into a shipping container or multiple shipping containers that we have. And then that way, everything that might be part of the insurance claim is out of the building. We can demolish the building, which unfortunately we've come to the determination that she's going to have to come down. Basically, the entire thing, other than the room that we're in now, the garage space, and the mechanical room, we'll call it, where like the electrical and HVAC stuff is. But other than that, everything's got to come down. So yeah, starting tomorrow, pretty much business hours, like 9 to 5. Saturday, same thing, and Sunday. We're just going to get literally everything that's not going to go into a dumpster. We got to put it in one of those shipping containers. So if you've got some spare time, come on down. We could sure use the hand. And I know a lot of you have wanted to help us out and just be here and you know, crack some jokes with us while we're doing stuff. It's really meant the world to us. So even James. And yeah, if anybody else has any other questions, either about the auction or about whatever else, temporary operations here. I did see one that I missed about the mobile range. The mobile range is available for use. You have to go on our website and book a time.
Right.
We'd like you to book a reservation. And actually, I don't know if it'll work now, but if you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our link tree, which is exactly what it sounds. It's basically just all of our links to everything. Facebook, YouTube, everything that we have, it's all in one spot now. Linktree. You scan that QR code. We have them all over the store, and you can find how to book times for the range. We basically have it set up like half-hour blocks. You come in, you set it up, you're good to go. If you're a member, there's no charge, obviously. And then if you're not a member, you just pay the normal. You know, I think for a half hour it was $8, right? And then you can still share a lane. You can have 2 people in there. I think it's an extra $6 if you share. So it's actually the same price as it used to be, $14 for an hour, but it's just your half, right? So it is what it is. Yeah, there it is. There's our website, NYTFP. Look at that domain name, so short. I love that. NYTFP.com.
Yeah. Switch
Switch that over, and I wonder. I don't think they hooked this one up. No, damn. I saved that as a. Eventually, that'll redirect to us. But anyways, yes, you can go on there. You can go to the indoor shooting range tab, like he's got there, and you can schedule some range time. So that's live. I will say, if you haven't heard already, the range is only handgun caliber rated. So you can shoot your pistol calibered carbine, Ruger 9mm rifle, or if you have a Henry Homesteader already, or you know whatever pistol caliber carbine you have, as long as it's in the, and there's a sign on the wall of the range, 9mm, 10mm, 40 cal, 357 SIG. There's a whole range.
Is it up to like 44 mag?
It is, yeah, yep. And it,
44 Magnum.
under 1,400 feet per second is basically the, so I think the only thing you really can't use as far as like a 9mm rifle would be like if you had some real screaming like Corbin, you know, a real hot Underwood ammo or something. Maybe that could go over that. We were looking at the FPS tables and stuff.
Sure.
Could do a voucher. 3 hours helped get you 1 hour range time. Mike, I really like that. Yeah, we definitely will. We'll have to come up with something here and a log of who helped us because we definitely want to take care of those that have helped us because the community here. We keep being reminded of how amazing our community is here. Not just in Bergen, not just in Genesee County, but really all of Western New York. I mean, it's been amazing.
I was thinking about that on my way in to like people just in this area, how like New York in general gets a bad rap. I would say like the East Coast in general. I've lived all over the East Coast.
Yeah.
And, it's people get a bad rap for being like pushy and loud and rude and like we're always in a hurry compared to like people from like say down south in the Midwest, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
And we drive fast and we talk fast and, right? And all of those different sorts
Very
of things.
valid.
Right. I would say all of those things are definitely true in my experience, right?
Yeah.
But here in Western New York, I would say that it's just a little bit different.
Sure.
In a lot of ways. People are a little bit nicer and,
See, it's funny. I there's a saying that I heard a while back about New Yorkers versus Southerners. And New Yorkers were kind, but we're not nice.
Right.
Like, you will be broken down on the side of the road, and, like, we'll pull over and we'll help you, but we'll cuss you out the whole time.
And make
like,
fun of you.
Yeah, but we'll still help you. Whereas, the stereotype is the Southerner would drive by and be very polite, like, oh, bless your heart, like, that's so sad, feel so bad for you, but they won't help you. Like, they're just going to keep going. And I know Southern people will help you, as stereotypes, but, I agree. We have something special up here. I know that's very cliche, but that's how I feel. And this is a safe space, so you can't tell me how I feel. So,
but we have been reminded of it by the people here that like take great care of us when we've needed them, right? And it doesn't come up often, but when it does come up, like you say, you always have tried to like give back to them. So
Josiah says that's a 100% true statement, having lived in the South. Joel, it is a 2-lane range. So the mobile range, 2 lanes. It is a 70-yard total distance, so it is relatively short. Perfect for handguns, though. 7, yes, 7. Did I say 70? 7 yards.
It's only out to 7. I haven't even been in there yet to see. I was
7 yards.
I was wondering like what the max range was. I was hoping you could at least get it to 10.
Because it's a 40-foot container, and then there's got to be room for you, and there's got to be room for the backstop, and
that's a lot of backstop. That's a whole lot of backstop. Jesus.
Oh yeah, but it is. There's 2 lanes. And it's a very well built. You go in there and not to put down our system, but you can definitely tell like our range was homemade versus this is like
it's
a
more
commercially
modern
available.
and
and everything's all touch screen. You push a thing, and the track will start moving, and you're like, oh my god, is that how fast it moves the whole time? And then it goes zoop, and it goes to whatever distance you told it to. Like, if you only want it at 2 yards, it'll go to 2 yards.
So for the rebuild, is that in the cards, do you think? Something a little bit...
It is. We definitely...
Like touchscreen, or...
I don't know about a touchscreen.
I don't want to put you on the spot. That scares
me. No, you're okay. Because Mike asked it, too. And we definitely, the engineering team, me and my dad and Dave, basically.
Right.
But the engineering team, we have been discussing, there were improvements we wanted to make before. And it's tough because we have an active... running range before, it's like it's like trying to do heart surgery with the heart beating, right? Like we can't just shut everything down for months to test and evaluate new target systems and stuff.
And if you try to implement something on one lane and it doesn't work, and then you've lost that one lane,
exactly,
and now
it's very tough. So we've been working, my dad had been working on some design improvements, here and there.
We've talked about a couple of different ways
you've come up
to
with
suspend
stuff.
things.
Yeah. Like so now we kind of do have the ability, and especially between now and then, like right now, we kind of can't do anything.
Right.
So I've had my dad building, and like he's going to have a track system here, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, that we could do some testing on, and we could do some development on to make it better.
Right.
Because we did learn a lot of things in the 10 years that we've been here operating this current range.
Right.
So, Mike, some of the ideas that we have, I don't want to go too deep into it. We are still waiting to see how some numbers come back, but my sincere hope is, that we can take what insurance has given us and really stretch that to hopefully build back better, and build back to have, maybe a slightly bigger facility. I can't make any promises, but I do want to at least, when we originally built, right, like you have your roof like this, and you design your building to be a certain way, and you don't necessarily think of like, oh, well, what if we do so good we have to build it to be bigger?
Right.
It's like, well, let's deal with what we have first before we start thinking about, going to the moon.
Right.
And so the way we had the building before, it would have been difficult to add another range. So not that we're planning right out of the gate to add more lanes, but we're going to
design it in such a way
right
that it could
so
be
that we
expanded
could.
more easily.
So if we wanted to, we could expand it easier.
We're getting a lot of feedback about the audio
being low.
again.
Are those up all the way, Cam? I think they are, aren't they? Those little control levers.
I thought we were doing okay for a little while there, and then it seems like something's going on.
The only other thing I'll say, maybe we just try to talk louder, I guess. I
can project my voice better. I can definitely do that.
The only other thing is I know I want more some more retail space,
Yes.
if we can, and some more classroom space, because I know that was another, the training, or maybe just 2 classroom spaces, so we can
That's
do
always
more.
been because we have 2 instructors, right? Nominally, we have
And then we have a lot of
least 2
outside instructors, like Rafa,
People come in, for sure.
Yep, build it tall enough to easily add on. Exactly, John. The mobile range, Ricky says, the mobile range should provide you some inspiration, and it 100% does. I shared back in January, I went to a show one of our distributors put on, and I shot in that exact range.
Right.
That's the one I shot in Nashville. And when we had the fire, I called the guy who owns it, and I was like, hey, watching my place burn down, like, what can we do? Called me back. We've got a long-term rental of it now. And when I was in Nashville looking at it, I took a bunch of pictures because I was like, well, we could build this. Like we built this range. It's pretty much the same thing, just in a box, in a shipping container.
Sure.
So that was one of our, I've always got a million things on the back burner of like things I want to do or could do, ideas or whatever. And that was definitely one of them, was like, hey, could we take this? Could we be going to, the bigger gun shows like at Syracuse or Hamburg or wherever, with this, and do like a mini TFP where you can test out guns or shoot machine guns or whatever. Do we want to try to go to the state fair? Like, is that even a possibility maybe, or across the street from the state fair, So we were talking about like, hey, maybe that'd be really cool to build one of our own mobile ranges. And then this opportunity, I'll call it, happened. And now we're going to have that range for 6 months or so. So we can really like reverse engineer it, I'll say.
Sure.
And just, take some lessons. Yeah, because that track system is amazing that they have. It's definitely, besides the touchscreen, you can tell it's more expensive than the one that we had. But even still, there's lessons to be learned, like how our cables are run. Theirs are turned like 90 degrees. And so the track is more like open. So the stuff, any of the fluff that gets in there, as it just falls. There's nowhere it can collect.
That's always been my main gripe, I think, about the system is like the way things get caught in the top of the track section there.
Yep.
And if you just had it, we talked about having it just rotated 180 degrees so that the opening is underneath.
Right.
And
right.
Yeah, your cables are more exposed there, I guess.
Yeah.
But ultimately,
they're kind of like, who cares? But the funny thing, like what they did was instead of their C channel, like basically facing up,
yes,
it faces to the side, and then they put,
that would absolutely
two
work.
of them like back to back.
Sure.
And then so there's a groove where their cable now, instead of running on the inside, one just runs on top,
right,
in the groove formed by the two of them being butt to butt to each other.
Sure.
And then one runs inside.
Right.
So it's just a really clean, it's a very cool system. You'll appreciate it as
for the cables,
right.
And different stuff
it does.
Like that. Yeah,
it does. It's a very neat. You can tell that they went through several iterations and
figured some different things out.
Yeah,
it's interesting, like how this could be an opportunity, though. You know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
sure.
Ultimately, like,
yes.
And I think that we have like a good group here to like turn it from a crisis into an opportunity. And I was talking to some people the other day about like, what's the plan and how are things, and everybody's very concerned about, and I was, talking about, well, we have ammo still, right? And we have accessories, and we have the website. So you still have the ability to order anything from our distributors and get a transfer, and we still see, a significant portion of that. So like there's a lot of different things that you can still do to support the store and help keep things going. We
Absolutely.
have membership opportunities, right? We have all these different things.
That is the big one. If I can pitch one thing, the memberships are literally what's keeping us afloat right now. I mean, it's been 1 month since the fire, basically, and we've gotten one small advance from the insurance company, which doesn't even come close to, our sales before the fire were what they were. We're probably at a third of those numbers right now, just because, we went from 7,500 square feet down to 600 square feet. So I'm actually incredibly proud of the staff of, like, when you look at the sales per square foot or whatever, they're really high. It's very impressive. But we just don't have room here. There's only so much we can do out of this location. Yep. And obviously some people are staying away because we're not in full operation and we don't have the range like normal, and there's a lot of reasons, but
it's like standing room only in a lot
it
of
kind of
ways,
is. Yep, it kind of is. But
it used to be a cool spot to hang
every
out.
day we're better than we were before.
Yep.
And the team here, the guys, Josiah, Tyler, the other Josiah, Brian, Cam, Ben, all of them, Darnell, everyone's been amazing. And,
John's still killing it with the permit classes, and that's still going on. So
obviously, we all have our quirks. I'll be the first to admit you and me are very alike in the sense that, like, I could text you an address and just be like, "Hey, you're gonna teach this to a group of, it could be 5 or 5,000 people," and you just be like, "All right, cool. Like, I'll roll with it. Like, I could do it. Yeah, you might be late, but, like, what I mean? Like, same here. I'll be wearing, like, stained clothes or whatever, but, like, I'll be there. John, for all of our cons, he goes the other way or whatever. Like, that would give him such an anxiety attack. He couldn't, like, and nothing against him,
like,
but, like,
he has
to go there. So I have to give him such credit because I basically threw that at him, that almost same scenario. Like, "Hey, John, the class that you've got all dialed in? Like, well, I've switched everything around on you, and you're going to be doing it at a new place with a new range." And he took it in stride and he made it happen.
He's a pro,
yeah.
You know what I mean? And he can teach anything, anywhere. Mm-hmm. Maybe not anything, but anything that he does, right? Anything that he knows and he feels like he can do it really well, he'll do it to the letter, right? Yeah. But I don't think he could be as adaptable on the fly all the time.
Sure.
Like, you couldn't.
That's
throw
not
that
his strong suit.
Right. But what he does, he did it
really
well.
He did it.
And he stepped up
very
to the
proud.
mark.
All the guys too. There's me. I'm always the one that wants to push. I post about it on Facebook first, and then I make you guys figure it out later, right? And that's kind of my MO. And it was just very impressive throughout this whole journey. We'll be here. We'll come up against a wall, some type of objection, and it's like, all right, well, adapt and overcome. Like, what are we gonna do about it? Are we just gonna sit here and be like, oh, well, like the range came in, and we're like, well, how are we gonna, like, use it in the sense of, like, I know how to turn the thing on, but like, somebody comes in, "Hi, I'd like to shoot."
What
what actually happens? Like, what's
shooting?
the SOP? Yeah. And we just sat down and we figured it out. And it was like, well, we're not just going to sit here and pay, what we're paying for that to just sit in the parking lot. Like, we're going to use it, right? It's costing us, like, so much per day. We got to do it. So, everyone has been amazing. Let's see. Joe, we're going back a little bit. I'm sorry, but Joe asked if the new range will be able to accept 50 cal black tip. So the funny thing about that is the old range could have taken 50 cal. I don't know about black tip, but probably with the rubber, I don't think the rounds, the armor piercing would have done anything to that rubber. It just would have maybe gone in a little bit deeper, a few more inches into the rubber, but I think that rubber just catches the bullet so well.
Right.
If you're shooting steel, black tip's going to go right through it, but I think because it's giving, right? Like,
right. Even the concrete block, you're going to have more issues with.
But our backstop was always rated for 50 BMG. It was the room really wasn't. Like, the lights weren't rated for that. And just certain things, we didn't build the range. Like, the Barrett Brandon thing happened years after we built. So,
the sound.
Right. It's the concussion of it. So it is one of those things where the new range, the backstop will be the same. It'll be rated for it. and I am trying, obviously because of the Barrett and because of you guys out there, and I know everyone would love it. We are trying to take that into consideration, and I know it's possible. Plenty of, you go out to Battlefield Vegas, they have M2 Bravos you can, or M2 50 cals you can rent. So we'll see what we can do.
Do they or do they not make a can for a 50?
Oh, they have to.
I feel like there's got to be a 50 cal suppressor out there. I don't know how much it's actually going to do inside. Like, it's going to significantly help, but
I know they have it for like the Barrett. They have the suppressors for it. Anthony, thank you so much. That means a lot. I know you're going to keep coming in, and you have. Marianne asked about the MREs. So we did sell out of all the original batch of those. We got a resupply in. I think we got like twice as many as we ordered the first time because, you never know. Whenever we order stuff in, we're always cautious because, we love everything. So when it's like, when we're shopping here, it's like, yep, add to cart, no problem. But yeah, this was one of those I was surprised at because this is stuff that I'm into. And usually if it's stuff that I'm into, that means it's weird, like the gold panning kit, right?
Same.
And so it's like it's probably not going to sell too well. There's only so many people on the spectrum in our area like me, on my spectrum. But the MREs were an instant hit, especially I think it's a pretty good price, $9.99, $10. And you're getting, this is like not a full day's worth of rations, but this is a full meal with like the kit. I don't know. Actually, Pat, under there, can you hit the 4? On the top there, make that. Yeah, let's see. Oh, look at that. So
Sweet.
You can see here, this has got like the full, there's the salt in here and the little peanut butter stuff, and there's vanilla. What is this? Vanilla pound cake. There's
what's the entree?
fruit. Okay, sorry, the Mexican style chicken stew. So there's one that everyone says they love, chili mac maybe.
The chili mac is pretty good.
I don't think did we have that one, do we? I don't know if we get that flavor. Maybe that's just the first one that gets bought every time. But there's multiple. Like there's the flameless ration heater in here. Like this is the full kit. Very cool military style. I believe I don't want to 100% say. I believe these are like military, like overruns or whatever. Like they look just like
that's
genuine like military surplus stuff. Yeah. Ameriqual Foods in Evansville, Indiana.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the one.
And the boys found out how to read the date code. I don't know if that's what that is or if you know how to read these. I know they're new manufacturer, but I don't know how long they last. But they're pretty cool. $10.
Shelf
We got a
life
bunch of
on those
different.
is
Here,
very,
Cam.
very good.
We got a. Can you go back
very
to
shelf
number
stable.
1 there? Thanks, buddy. So we got a bunch of those. I think did we get the XMREs too? The other kind? The deluxe ones, maybe. We got like 2 different kinds, I want to say. And then we have them by the case.
Nice.
You can buy like a case for like $80, I think, or whatever it was. $100 maybe for 12.
$100 for 12 meals is a very good
Something
deal.
like
Those things
Yeah.
will last you a long time. The meals are very calorically dense, and they do add a lot of nutritional supplementation in there for.
They bind y'all up so you don't have to poop too, right?
They do that. They will help with
You
that.
can, come on in.
Step in for a minute.
It's
So-
Cam.
So the ones that you were showing off are the deluxe ones that come with like the biscuit and the
Yeah.
ration thing and all the other stuff. And then we just have these
The
ones.
basic bitch one.
The basic that just has your food and a cookie
Oh, well,
All right.
and a fork.
Who does? I mean,
And a
who doesn't
fork.
like cookies?
All right.
So there you go.
So Stat Boy is out.
Back in your hole. All right. We did get another comment here. Joe says, I was told by my supply chief when I was in the Corps that the only thing that goes bad in those is the name brand candy.
That makes sense.
I could believe that.
Yeah.
Jim says it lasts far better than puffed up sea rations. I bet Jim's got a whole pile of those in his basement. I just picture him like
He might.
every
Jim
night
Jim is an awesome dude.
gets home, takes the pants off, sea ration.
He's eating one right now. Jim's hardcore.
Turn on TFP stream. John says, sorry, ate way too many of them 45 years ago.
I'm with you, man. I've definitely lived on those for my share of time.
Edris, hi. Hope everyone's doing well. We are. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. James, so happy to hear things are moving along. And yes, I will hit you up. And thank you, James, for that that power supply, that power battery. That was very useful.
Brian's question: we are doing transfers, yes, sir.
Yes, yep.
And you can still, like I said earlier, you can still order stuff from our site as well, and we'd be happy to transfer that to you as well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the EOTech event, man.
Yeah, how did that guy?
Was fun.
I wasn't able to come.
Dude, that was fun. That was a good time. I'm always nervous when we set up an event like that. That you're gonna like put yourself out there, and it's gonna be like that freshman party you threw, and like no one showed up, and and it's like, oh, it's so awkward. But no, we had an amazing, literally like standing room only turnout in here.
Sure.
No one from the fire department. It was definitely to code, but it was amazing. And we had the great Bill Stapinski was out here.
One of my favorites.
He is
Awesome
literally
guy.
just a gem. So cool of a guy. He was here, and there was a guy, Matt. I didn't get his last name, but there was a guy like from EOTech, Matt, former Marine, had done a few deployments, shared some very funny videos that I'll have to tell you about later. That they were like the highlight of the night. Let me tell you.
Nice.
I don't even want to get it. Let's just say there was a video of an act performed. Someone thought they were alone when they were doing something, but
they were not alone.
Thermal vision sees all. Let's just say that. And I just hope the goat's okay. But the EOTech event was amazing. There had to have been like $100,000 worth of night vision devices here, which is only like 8, but still, like, not
sounds
that
like
many.
a big number, but it's not.
It's not that many,
devices.
but they had monoculars, they had binoculars, they had like compact binoculars, they had thermal devices. Yep. It was very. The presentation was the goat. Yes, Anthony, that's so funny. Yeah, it was super cool. We had the range open. So it was on a Tuesday night.
Yep.
So there's a thing in the online gun community called Two Stamp Tuesday. Generally, we don't get to play in New York because none of us have NFA items other than dealers like us. And so I brought out the UMP. I have a UMP with a PEC 15 laser on it.
Yep.
So Ben was in the range, and people got to go into the range, complete darkness, and shoot an IR lasered gun. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we had like the thermals and stuff set up outside. People could like look into the village and look, out into the fields and stuff like that. And then they had stuff set up in here, asking questions and, learning and just all that kind of stuff. And for me, I think I posted it in a comment. I don't think I made my own post about it. But for me, the highlight of the night, I went to Tops before the event just to get like some cookies and snacks and stuff.
Did you wear your helmet?
No. Oh, that would have been funny. I got the cake ladies to make an EOTech cake. I had them draw like the EOTech logo on a cake, and the rep was like, "Oh," I was like, "You've probably been to cooler gun shops, ones that haven't burned down 3 weeks before the event, but like,
did they bring you a cake?
Nobody's made you an EOTech cake." So,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
that was pretty fun. I do hope to do more of those events in the future, James. I don't know if it'll be an EOTech factory event. I do think they were very impressed. They said for a store like ours, if we had 10 people turn up, they would have been blown away. We had like 40 or 50 maybe.
Sure.
So they were very impressed by that. So I think that probably will turn into a once a year thing. The rep was from Saratoga Springs. So
a New York
not
guy. Yeah.
super close, but not super far either.
Sure.
So he drove up in one day and drove back. Right. So, I definitely want to, encourage and try to build up a community of people that own night vision.
Yeah.
It is an expensive hobby. None of these are cheap hobbies, but it is the cheapest superpower that you can buy, so they say. And I know there's a lot of people that want to do it, but it's a lot like the guns. Like until you get it in your hand and you try it for yourself, it's hard to justify, especially, I mean, you're talking.
You don't necessarily understand.
Maybe $3,000, $4,000. And I mean, the EOTech ones are $5,000 to $6,000 because they're EOTechs. So that can be a stretch for people. We will be offering financing. We're not trying to, we don't make anything off of like the financing, and like, we're not trying to put people in rough financial positions, obviously.
Right.
But it is something that is offered. So we'll be putting it out there if people are interested in it. My kid loved it. Brandon acting like a Sasquatch running in the field. Yes, Cody. That was Cody was here with his daughter, and she's like looking through the IR, and I was just like, It was very
That's
fun.
fun.
It was very fun. Yeah, it was a good time. It's not the first time. Yes. So we will definitely be doing. We are trying to grow our collection of night vision devices. I think the next thing I want to get though is a thermal, just because that is such a different. I again, not to sound dumb, I didn't realize that thermal view was, again, just stupidly, I thought it could somehow just, you're looking through this thing, and I didn't understand that it is still light that's coming off of you, like the heat. I thought it sensed the heat in a different way, I guess. I don't know how it worked, just magic, right? You look through the tube, it works, but I didn't know that it is part of the light spectrum. Yeah, like the heat coming off of you and everything else puts out a visible wave of light, not to us, to our naked eye, but through these devices. And that was pretty cool to me. But yeah,
you should get a thermal monocular that you could wear on your support set, because you have the or you have the night vision over here.
Yeah. Yep.
So now you could have both view. Have you ever seen
poor man's Cody, right?
Have you ever seen the guys that run that, the Goblin Tactical or whatever?
Closest we'll get to those military, the overlay things for the next 10 years probably. Mark, thank you very much. Again, we said it earlier, but the community support through all this has been amazing. And I don't know, it just lets you know you're doing something right. Like we set up, we've been here almost 10 years now. That tells you you're doing something right, I guess, from a business perspective or a fiscal, management perspective, that, we've been able to pay the bills and keep the lights on and pay the employees for this long. But, a lot of businesses, unfortunately, go through what we're going through. And I'm not going to, put them down that they haven't done what we do. But again, that's not why we do it, but it's just telling me that we're doing something right.
Right. Somebody said something to me one time that kind of reminds me of the way that this place kind of goes, right? And it's people remember the way you make them feel.
Sure.
Right. So the way that people feel when they come in here, the way that they feel welcome, the way that they feel like they're part of a community, the way that they feel like, they can come in here and ask a question and get the right answer, or somebody will take the time to do their best to answer it, whatever the case is. I think those are the sorts of things that have really made us stand out over time.
Sure. Yeah. Mike, thank you. We're an essential business. And Mark asked, can we still donate to the rebuild? And it's awkward for me to say that, or to ask for a donation. But Tyler's mom, Kelly, she did set
happy
up
birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, by the way, a couple days ago, right? She set up a GoFundMe for us, and we said right from the beginning that we're going to be donating at least half of that money to the Bergen Fire Department, because number one, those volunteers are some of the most amazing people we've ever met, and just their dedication again to this community is unmatched, and it's absolutely ridiculous that they are willing to do that literally for nothing. They just do it because it has to be done, and they care about their community. And what more can you say about people? But so there is that. We haven't really made any formal plans yet. We probably will do some type of a Kickstarter or some type of
fundraising type event.
Yeah, and I want to GoFundMe to me is hey, we had this happen, donate money, and that's kind of it. If I want to do what I want to do, it would be more of hey, we've got the money to rebuild the range, but maybe you want to help make it better, right? Maybe better target systems, or here's that, or whatever. So we could do a Kickstarter where there's more quid pro quo. Hey, you make a $5 donation, you're getting a sticker. You make a $20 donation, you're getting something.
Could be a raffle of some kind.
Exactly.
There's
or you're getting
different ways to do it.
When Eli Fish opened, we love those guys in Batavia. They did a similar thing. It was hey, we can build the place. We've got the budget to build it, but if you want to build it cooler, we could certainly use that for decor or this or whatever. There's always another expense when you're opening a business.
So at Christmas time, we've traditionally done gift cards where it's you pay X amount of dollars and you get X amount in additional value, right?
Probably do something similar.
So a good way
Yeah.
to raise additional funds potentially could be just as a
Yeah.
suggestion,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But
Absolutely.
there's more than one way to skin that cat.
I know with like Eli Fish, they had a big board, and it was like, hey, if you donate this much, your name's gonna go on the board, and it's still there, like 5 or 6 years later, however long they've been there, and you know, I think same thing. This is a community. This is a business, but this is also like a community gathering place for a lot of people. So we'd like to, you know, acknowledge that, and same thing. Like when we're in the tear down process, if you want to be a part of it, we want you to help us. And when we're in the rebuild process, if you want to be out here, because this place, I know it means a lot to a lot of people. So if you want to help us rebuild and you know, be a part of this place even more, we want that. You know, we love that. We love the community. Joe asked about Polar Wave. Did it get shut down, or is that on the back burner with everything that happened? So Polar Wave is actually being sold. Yeah. So I was approached. It has been something on the back burner. It's been something that I've wanted to kind of just for my own sake diversify and maybe get something else going out there that's not gun related. You know, I tried to get the range going and it didn't work out. And I've held the property ever since, and you know, we pay the taxes on it, which I love so much. And it is a fun, I mean, it kills me that I'm 45 minutes away from it, 40 minutes maybe. I wish I was over there more. It's a fun piece of property. It's 20 acres, and there's some cool ranges set up that the guys have spent, you know, the past few years developing, and it's just a shame. But yeah, it wasn't something that I put on the market, but I was approached, and you have a conversation, and you know, everything is for sale if the price is right. And it was just, you know, it was one of those things that even before the fire, I had things that we wanted to do over here. We talked about buying more land. We had talked about, you know, some types of expansions, things like that, you know, and then the fire happened. Obviously, it put a lot of that on hold, and it, you know, it made it that much easier to sign the paperwork to sell Polar Wave, just knowing.
Well, one less liability, right? And
exactly.
One more asset now that can be turned into something to help rebuild. So
yeah, absolutely, yeah. So as much as I loved it, it was. You know, not something that was debilitating, but it was a drain. I mean, it was something that the firing pin was floating the bill for, and you know, it'll be sad. I definitely there are times where things have come up, and it's like I don't know what I would do if I didn't have, like, there's a barn out there, you know, and it's like things have come up where it's like, oh, I can just throw that in the barn out there,
right?
And it's like I don't know what I'm gonna do when I don't have that, you know, or like, hey, I just need a spot to go scream and no one can hear me, you know what I mean? And like, I need a spot to just shoot a machine gun into garbage or whatever. Like that was
into trash.
That was the place for it, you know? So I am on the lookout for more land. I always am. I do want to get an outdoor experience going, you know, here in Western New York, just, you know, between the tactical style training and the events that we like to do and, you know, long range shooting. It's just, there's a need for it. There's clearly a need for it in our area. But yeah, it's just, that wasn't the spot. I know we can do better, and it will be the better off for it. So,
bigger and better things to come.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mike says adopt a lane program. Yep. We are planning on doing that, either reaching out to some, like, you know, some local business partners that we have, or yeah, I mean, we've had people ask in the past, you know, to do stuff like that. So we'll definitely be doing that. Mike, I do want to do some type of event where people can shoot. And that was, I don't want to say the whole reason, but that was one of the big reasons that I wanted a place like Polar Wave, was so we could shoot the damn Barrett.
Right.
So many people, especially after the Virginia thing, wanted to shoot the Barrett. And it's not, I mean, I would have to charge something for it, but it's not even about that. It's just, that's a gun that until I owned one, I had never shot one, and so few people do. And even if you own one, there's probably 60 to 80% of the people that own those guns have never shot them, because there's not many places you can. Any private range around here that I know of, you can't shoot a 50 BMG. Like the gun clubs, the Rod and Guns.
No,
they don't let you
they
shoot
don't want
those.
you shooting that
No.
out there.
So it's definitely something that I want to do. We just got to figure out how. Mark, thank you so much. We definitely are going to do a metal roof, so send me an email, info@thefiringpinny.com. And yeah, Mike, mag dump into trash. It's the only way.
Every once in a while, man. Got to just make expensive noise.
Yep, Zach Morgan, bucket list gun. Well, Zach, you might be able to shoot that maybe anytime. Just.
Zach's a good dude.
What are you doing right now? Come down. Come shoot.
Zach's a good dude.
It made me feel really good the other night, Ben, as we were cleaning up the EOTech night. He just kind of pulled me aside and he's like, "Do you know, what you have done, as far as we are in Western New York, shooting guns, shooting machine guns with suppressors on them, in the middle of the night, with night vision, in town here." And it was just, I was like, well, I don't do it because of that, but it is sometimes, yeah, when you step back and you're looking, it's damn, we did that. And
Well, living where we live is so restricted. That wouldn't be a big deal. I have a lot of friends who live in other locales. Mm-hmm. And, if I told them that I was shooting a machine gun with a suppressor on it, cool. They'd be like, yeah, it's a Tuesday night.
And,
what else would you be doing?
Right.
I don't get it.
We got tacos, but cool.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's
to
a big
them,
deal.
That's a whole different, ball of wax. So for people here locally to be able to just be exposed to that and just, see that, yeah, the gun culture is still here and they still get excited about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's awesome. Do we have any other questions?
I have a question. Why didn't we talk about Beyond Driven Fitness and Performance
we were all
on Main Street in Leroy? Well, here's your ad. Beyond Driven Fitness and Performance in Leroy on Main Street. My and Tyler's favorite place to go and get our fitness on. By far the best fitness facility in Western New York. Mm-hmm. They have 24/7 gym access for members. They have many different varieties of fitness classes, spin fit, CrossFit. They have a burn thing that they do. It's just a cardio smoke session. Student athlete training, personal trainers that you can.
I think they're student athlete training. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. And I mean,
what they're doing with the military, I think,
that's also very cool.
Also super cool. Yeah, they have a program that they're doing with our friends at American Warrior Foundation, and they are training future warriors to go and do great things in our military. Mm-hmm. People who otherwise, might have struggled to meet some requirements. American Warrior Foundation has been running, as you know, and as our viewers and listeners should be aware. American Warrior Foundation is running a fantastic program to help on the educational side as well as on the fitness side to get people qualified for military occupation specialties.
If you're in that
pipeline,
that you have to take a test, but some people don't know. They just you got to do some push-ups, you got to be able to run. The military wants smart people too, and
not everybody's able to meet the educational requirements. Not everybody has a GED. For some people, it's as simple as help to get a GED. They have a GED program that they're helping to get people that minimum standard of education so that they can get there. They have people that are getting tutoring to pass the ASVAB if they're struggling on that side of things. They have again. The Future Warrior program that they're doing with the Army and Marine recruiters to get, people. Casey just came back. We should actually invite Casey.
Yes,
to come
we
on.
should interview him.
He was just
I saw he met the commandant
at Paris Island.
Yeah, super cool.
He messaged me. He was like, "Hey man, I just wanted to give you say thank you for getting me kind of spun up on some of this marksmanship stuff before I came down here, because I was down here engaging targets at, all the way out to 500 yards with these guys.
That's cool.
And he was able to actually get some hits on targets, and he felt pretty good about that.
Cool.
And yeah, so he thought that was a pretty neat experience. I'd love to talk to him about it in detail. So I'll reach out to him and see if we can get him to come on, and we can talk to him more about that and everything else that they have over there, because they're pretty neat.
Absolutely. Joe, sorry, this MP5 is not for sale. This is a NFA item, fully automatic, fully semi-automatic, but no, this one's full auto. We got this from the Batavia Police Department a few years back, and it's got a Silencer Co. Omega, Silencer Co. Omega 9K on it. But no, this is the real deal. I think from mid '90s.
And it's got the Surefire forend with
It does.
without a flashlight right now.
No flashlight in it, but we do have it somewhere.
Will it still fit all the 1-inch bodied ones, like
I
any of
think
the
so.
modern ones
Yeah.
with the LEDs instead of the old
That's a
the
good.
old ones with like 4 lumens?
That it definitely had an old one in it.
Right.
That was embarrassing. Yeah, it was like a mag light looking down the end of it. Yeah, it was
So pitiful.
so dumb. But yeah, this is one of the rentals where once we are fully spun up back and running in the range, you could come down and rent a machine gun, right? So we have 2 of these, we have 2 UMPs, and we're working on increasing that and getting more better ones.
Yeah, definitely better one. The UMPs are like kind of cool, but they're kind of clunky. I don't know. I expect more from HK. Like,
They're definitely you can tell they're from another era, I guess, or because the MP5 is from the 70s.
Yes.
Maybe even a little earlier than that, but the UMP, that's from the 90s, so it's still, it's cool. It's light. I love how light the UMP is.
I don't know. I just always like the ergonomics on them don't impress me
weird.
very much, and the sight systems on them are like okay or whatever, and
very much H&K, like G3, the MP5, Josiah, I don't know. The MP5 is sounds dumb. Like, for me, if I'm going to shoot a machine gun, I want that thing rattle. Like, I want to be moved around. I want to, the MP5 is like a precise, like a typewriter. And it just goes, brrr, and it just, brrr, and it's just nice. it's fun, don't get me wrong, but very controllable. Almost too controllable. It's not fun. I like the UMP, and like the one we have is in 40 cal, because with no suppressor on the thing, you're just like, ga 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 ga. I'm like, oh, it's so fun.
My only real frame of reference to using this gun is from like SOCOM on PS2.
Sure, yeah.
When I was a kid, like playing videos, right? So to me, like that's what I want this gun for. Is like, I'm gonna go clear a boat.
Of course,
I'm gonna be like boarding a ship, and then I'm gonna clear that motherfucker. So that's what I want this for. Is to be that little typewriter. Right. Yeah,
if you're actually going to use it, the MP5 probably does make more sense.
It's still kind of goofy with the
it is weird
charging handle and shit like that. Like I don't like the reload
rollers
procedure
they can break,
Yeah, it's kind of delicate, but still like for when it was useful, it was useful.
Joe says he wants to try an MP5 SD. It would be even cooler or more boring for me, which is true. And it's funny that you name drop that gun. That gun, the MP5 SD, for those of you that don't know, that's the one with the integrally suppressed or suppressor, like it's all built in, the big chunky boy.
Yeah, that's a big can.
That gun is a huge part of the reason that this place exists. So if I may tell us a story, then we'll get out of here, I guess. I was in college, summer break. I was a sophomore, I want to say, so we're talking like 2010-ish. And we did a family trip down to Washington, D.C. I'm a big history nerd. So I want to see, the Smithsonian. I want to see this. I want to see that.
Sure.
And we went to the NRA Museum, which for all of their faults, at the NRA headquarters, they have an amazing museum. It was free. I don't know if it still is, but they have a very amazing collection. They have all sorts of historical guns. They have all sorts of like movie guns, like Dirty Harry's guns from the movies. And, back in those days of Hollywood, there were a lot of Hollywood stars, John Wayne maybe, that like truly loved guns and had their own impressive collections.
Right.
Those all belong at the NRA Museum and stuff like that. And then at the end of the tour, there's a range at the NRA Museum. And it's like the range of all ranges. And it's literally like 50 lanes wide. And it's very impressive. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like, well, we're here. They got to have rental guns too. Well, they don't. You got to bring all your own guns. And I was like, oh, it's so lame. So I get on my phone and I'm like, there's got to be, like, we're down in the South. There's got to be, I've heard there's ranges, I've heard the others tell tales of like, you can go to a range, just rent a machine gun. So I found, I think it was Blue Line Tactical. There was something tactical, obviously, in the name. And I find it, we navigate to it in our old GPS and phones and everything. And we get there, and it's literally in like a industrial like office park. Mm-hmm. Like you're just going down, and there's just loading docks, and it's like, this is office number 1 and office number 8. There's no like business names or anything.
Right.
And we get down to like the very last one, and there's like, yeah, like whatever, tactical tuna gun shop, whatever it was. And we're like, all right, well, there it is. And we walk in. There's 100 people there. The place is packed. Every employee looks like a former Navy SEAL, like guns all over them and stuff. Yeah, and they had a million guns to rent, and I have no idea why, but that's what I chose. I chose the MP5 SD. I went in there. It was like $100. I got 1 magazine. Came out 5 seconds later. I think I went, brrp, 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 and that was it. There was $100, and my dad was like, "What the fuck?" Like, you know, and he's like, and there's a picture of me here somewhere. I'm pretty sure we saved it, of me just grinning like an idiot, holding this MP5 SD, like clearly in like their airlock or whatever,
right,
you know, and yeah, I left, and that just, it sat in my head that because I was working at Gander Mountain at the time, and it was just, why is this not a thing? There's a store with the range, and like, how is that not the only kind of gun store that exists? I was like, this is just the most logical thing I've ever seen. And it only took me, that was 2010. 2012, I was writing a business plan. 2013, we were building. 2014, we were open. So, yeah, the MP5 SD, yes, Joe, as boring as it is, and it is, it's a very boring gun to shoot. Right. Same with like the P90. Like the P90 is like this holy grail gun for a lot of people. Right. And they go to shoot it, it's like, pew, pew, pew. It's like, what? Like, it's just not what they were expecting, I think, you know? But the MP5 SD, same thing. Like, obviously, I would own one in a heartbeat. Right. But if you're telling me, like, you know, you're going to go shoot one that's fun, it's not that necessarily.
See,
to
me, that's the only thing that's
fun.
I know.
It's
like repeatable performance. Like, I can do the same thing every time, and I know what my capabilities are. I know where they stop. I know where they end.
You can't see it, but I kicked my heel up. Friends, swoon.
What's up, Dwayne?
My friend. You know,
Did
Dwayne,
you just get here now?
Dwayne is the only reason Spike is coming.
I know.
They're like...
They're buddies. They touch tubes?
Like they're a thing.
You did the thing. I don't know.
I think it's called docking. I think that's what the term is.
Did you learn that? Where'd you learn that?
Don't act like you don't know.
Where'd you learn that, Brando? Tell me.
Tyler taught me.
At Roar, was it?
There was a long drive from here to Bontrager's, all right, with Tyler.
Oh, man. Tell you. He'd just tell you all sorts of
Dwayne calls me today, and he just goes, "What are you wearing?" So I was like, "Hello." He just goes, "What are you wearing?"
He's a funny dude.
Friends like
Speaking of Dwayne, hey Dwayne, there's a skirmish, buddy, and I really am gonna need you to sign up for that now that it's not text. Oh, damn it! There's a training day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna.
So now it's not a skirmish.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So sign up for it, Dwayne.
Yeah. So you can come and do a whole different thing, or you can make excuses about a whole different thing.
Or
Balls
just
in your court.
Shred more people's taxes, whatever it is you do over there.
He filed a ton of returns.
So many.
I saw
that.
Oh my gosh.
I know, and it's funny because one of his favorite things is giving the government more money. So it makes a ton of sense that's what
I got tired just reading that.
I got tired just looking at all those numbers.
I saw that.
All right. It's past our bedtimes. We got to get out of here.
For me, for sure.
Love you all. Freedom Weekend, June 10th and 11th. Don't forget.
Tactical Games Training Day on the 30th of April. Go sign up right now. What are you doing?
What are you doing? All right. End live video.
Bye, guys.
Bye.